Suzy Wrong. Joy Drive with Dean Warren's film, TV and theatre reviewer.
Suzy Wrong, welcome back.
How very dare you, Deirdre Deandra Mason.
Deandra is one that I get a lot, actually. Deirdre I will not have. I feel terrible, Suzy Wrong, because, I love a tweenage lesbian drama. Had many of them myself, in fact. But no, I didn't get a chance to watch it. But that's okay. It doesn't mean I can't be part of the discussion.
Absolutely.
Look, I'll do my best to give you an idea what this is about.
Before you get into it, Suzy, how was Mardi Gras?
It was really good on the TV.
I just imagine you, in the thick of it, Suzy, but you're not up for it, are you?
No, not really. I'm not good with crowds generally, unless someone can, promise me flat surfaces for my heels and, not walking too much and all that stuff. I'm very spoiled like that. I'm very difficult like that. I understand that. So I prefer to watch on TV.
Can't your lovers carry you around?
My many lovers, they just get them to carry me around. Now, the movie is called
My First Summer. And in the story, Claudia's mother had suffered a serious mental illness and as a result kept them both firmly isolated from the world. When the mother dies, in this new Australian film, My First Summer, 16-year-old Claudia is left utterly alone, not quite able to fend for herself. A coincidental meeting with another teenager, Grace, much more savvy and spirited, presents an opportunity for Claudia to finally be able to live a more normal life that includes strawberry milk, candy necklaces, and some more, shall we say, worldly pleasures of the flesh, as the two girls fall madly in love with each other. It's a charming, very pretty film in that quintessentially Aussie rustic way, but without the homophobia. a bit of wholesome entertainment never hurt anyone.
So it's fantasy, all right. Look at you, Suzy Wrong, getting all up in the Australian film. This is like the second one.
I'm trying.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
Is it believable? Can I say, is the romance believable, Suzy Wrong?
I think the two actors made it very believable. I love the chemistry between them. It was wholesome, but also somehow very lusty as well. I thought they found a really beautiful balance there.
Suzy, I loved the chemistry as well, and I liked the way that the chemistry developed. It wasn't just an instant turn on; it was very slowly developed, and I thought that made it seem very genuine. And that they explored each other at a sort of innocent pace, and I thought that was well done. And you were left wondering, what the girl's future would be like, and that it was really effective. I think it did that well. I was left, and I think this is a good thing that happened too, I was left cringing at the Australian family, the role of alcohol and the mother with poor parenting skills and the impact that this has on a kid's life to the point where they want to escape. I thought that story was done really, really well. What I didn't like about it, Suzy, is I found the story a little bit far-fetched, and my critical mind was looking at things like, well, how could you be isolated for so long and, they're by themselves kids, but they've still got food and electricity. And anyway, I was asking all of these questions, but some of the acting for me wasn't that convincing. To be honest with you, Suzy, I found myself nodding off at times. So it didn't grip me, but I did love that innocent chemistry.
Well, luckily it's only 70-something minutes. That's
yes.
Not very long.
I kept pausing it to see how long it had to go.
I love it when Suzy does a review and she says, well, luckily it's only 70 minutes, so it's tolerable.
I can't believe it. You have no problems watching a 4-hour documentary, but I couldn't get you to watch a 17-minute film.
Well, you did, in fact, to get him to watch it. It wasn't for lack of want or trying that you didn't get me. Were there any big names in the acting pool there?
Not really. I didn't know any of the faces in there, which was great. I think it made it, it was easier to get involved in that sort of strange little outback world that's created. It was interesting because it felt like it was really, bush life, but as well as very contemporary, which was not a very usual way of doing Australian film. I think it's a new approach to Australian filmmaking. It doesn't do splendidly in all areas, but I think it has some really great ideas that can only come from a young creative's mind. It is her first film. I think her name is Katie Found, it was. And I think she's one to watch.
I just can't when I read, and I've only read the synopsis and watched a tiny little bit of it, but when I think about how much this would have impacted my young life as a lesbian at the age of 16, it would have been extraordinary to see something like that on a screen, small or large.
Absolutely. I think it's a kind of queer film that doesn't have a lot of darkness in that way. You know, it does. The girls still come across difficulty, but it's not about being queer. And so I really appreciated that. I love that the romance, the love sort of flourishes quite organically, and they didn't have sort of concerns about, oh, what will my parents think? How would other kids think? The drama wasn't about that, and I really appreciated that because it's really unusual for us.
I think you're right. I think it was innocent, wholesome entertainment, and it's the sort of film that anyone could watch. There's nothing in there that's going to shock you, or there's nothing. Anyone could watch it, and it would give you a real good, wholesome story.
I think if you're a bigot, it'll be difficult because there's nothing to point to, is there?
No, there's nothing. You can't. You exactly. You can't. It's.
But it will ruffle their feathers because it looks so PG, but yet you've got these two girls figuring out how to have sex with each other, in quite an honest way. I thought that was beautifully done.
I agree.
I am still reeling from us bagging There's No Iron threesome last week. Did you get any flack for that, Suzy Wrong?
No, I didn't. I was very careful.
I'm still cranky about it. Every time I think about it, I think, I can't believe I watched that film. But anyway, I hope it does well. I did want to ask you a question about because I know that you do well in we are speaking to Suzy Wrong, by the way. She's Joy Drive's movie, film, theatre, TV reviewer. And Suzy, I like it that you're finding all this queer LGBTIQA plus content on the streaming services and on free-to-air TV. Does this impact the success of festivals like the Queer Film Festival and Queer Screen?
I don't think it does really. I think that the festivals have such a strong sort of vibe to it because these streaming platforms, they're so vanilla, aren't they? On the surface, at least, they're so sort of general. They try to aim for as wide a market as possible. I love things. I love binge, which is controversial, especially with Warren.
Yeah, Murdoch's.
Yeah, because of the Murdoch ownership of it. But if you take a deep dive into there's so much queer content because they've got an arrangement with HBO in the United States, which is really good with queer content. And a lot of that stuff has never been screened here before. But you kind of don't really know that about binge until you really go and check it out. So I don't think... as a branding exercise, I don't think queer people relate to these platforms quite as strongly as they do the queer festivals that obviously spend a lot of time, effort, and money in cultivating their relationship.
The last question Warren and I have a spare spot in our station wagon for you
the car
on
load.
Thursday night at the Melbourne Queer Film Festival opening night. It's going to be held at the Drive-In Theatre. Do you want to come and snuggle between the two of us?
I would love to, but I've got theatre things to do in Sydney.
Oh, just quickly, what are you seeing Thursday? So that we can catch you out.
I'm just checking my email now. It's called You're Not Special, and it's coming up at King's Cross Theatre.
Oh, right. What's our homework for next week, Suzy?
You almost got me there. All right, next week we are going into Heteroland.
Right.
With Allen versus Farrow, the 4-part docu-series on Binge about Woody Allen quite possibly being a filthy piece of human garbage.
Oh.
I have watched episode 1 and I look forward to discussing the rest. I didn't think they were all up, but are they?
They will be all up by next week this time.
I will make sure.
It's very powerful.
I will stay within Wi-Fi range for you.
So it's Allen versus Farrow on Binge.
Yeah,
that's right.
Even episode 1 is quite the trial, so it'd be interesting to see how it pans out. I don't think it is going to go well.
Not for Woody Allen, no.
Well, or for any of them, I'm sure.
Great to chat to you, Suzy, again.
As always.
See you next Tuesday.
Thank you. See you next Tuesday.
Bye.
That is the lovely Suzy Wrong. She joins us weekly for our movie, film, TV, theatre review. And
if you want to catch My First Summer, it's streaming now on Stan.
Yep, and next week, let's look into the Woody Allen, Mia Farrow documentary. It's going to be tough, but I hear it's very good.